Listen, there are people in your life, some of whom you've known for years, who are not interested in your growth. They're not rooting for you. In fact, they're dragging you down, not because they're evil in some grand cinematic way, but because they are bitter, resentful, stagnant, and misery loves company. You have to understand something fundamental about life. You're not obligated to associate with people who make you weaker. You're not morally bound to keep toxic individuals in your proximity just because you have history or because cutting them off might cause a stir. Sentiment is not a justification for self-destruction. Some friends don't want to see you succeed because your success reminds them of their own failure to act. They mock your goals. They roll their eyes when you speak of improvement. They subtly sabotage your efforts. And you allow it because you think loyalty is a virtue. But loyalty to the wrong people is cowardice in disguise. There's a cost to staying entangled in dysfunctional relationships. It's not just emotional exhaustion, it's the slow erosion of your potential. Every day spent with someone who belittles you, who manipulates your empathy, who turns your dreams into punchlines, is a day you've handed your future over to someone who doesn't deserve it. This is not about arrogance or superiority. It's about responsibility. You have a moral obligation to yourself, to your future self, to your family, to the world, to become who you could be. That means making difficult decisions. That means being willing to say no more. That means understanding that peace sometimes follows conflict. Cutting toxic people out of your life is an act of courage. It's a declaration that you will no longer participate in cycles that make you small. And yes, it will be painful. You will feel guilt. You will question yourself. But if you persevere, on the other side of that pain is freedom. A life aligned with truth, competence, and genuine connection. You must choose your company carefully. Surround yourself with people who want the best for you, who challenge you, who inspire you to aim higher. Anything less is a betrayal of the person you're capable of becoming. So stand up straight, lift your eyes, and walk away from those who will not walk with you. You're not obligated to keep toxic people in your life. This simple yet profound truth is one that many people struggle to accept, especially when it comes to relationships built over time. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that loyalty, history, or shared experiences bind you to certain people, even if their presence in your life is not contributing to your growth. But the reality is that you are not morally bound to remain in toxic relationships just because of past attachment. Your primary responsibility is to yourself, your well-being, and your future. When you invest time and energy in people who continuously drag you down, you are sacrificing your potential for their comfort or your own misguided sense of duty. These relationships, while they might have started with good intentions, often evolve into unhealthy dynamics where negativity, criticism, or emotional manipulation become the norm. It's easy to overlook the small ways in which these individuals affect you because you're so accustomed to their presence. However, once you step back and view it objectively, you begin to realize the emotional toll they take, the constant gossip, the undermining remarks, the inability to celebrate your success. These things have a real, tangible effect on your mental and emotional health. And it's not just about the emotional toll, it's about the wasted time and energy. Life is fleeting, and you don't have the luxury of time to waste on relationships that don't serve you. You could be using that time to nurture connections that push you to grow, to explore new opportunities, or to simply focus on your own well-being. Toxic people take that away from you, not because they intentionally want to, but because they lack the awareness or the desire to see you thrive. They can only operate from their own place of stagnation, and often they are more comfortable with you staying where you are so that they aren't forced to confront their own shortcomings. What makes this even more difficult is the societal pressure to maintain relationships, even when they are clearly detrimental to your happiness. We are often taught that loyalty to friends and family is one of the highest virtues. While loyalty itself is not a vice, it becomes destructive when it blinds you to the harm someone is causing you. The truth is, sometimes loyalty is not about sticking with people no matter what. It's about protecting your peace and your progress. If a relationship is damaging you, it's okay to walk away. It's not disloyalty, it's self-preservation. There's also the fear of confrontation, of hurting someone's feelings or causing a rift. But the reality is, maintaining toxic relationships out of fear of discomfort only perpetuates the negative cycle. It's far more respectful to be honest and clear about your boundaries than to keep up a facade of friendship that isn't genuine. The people who truly care about your well-being will understand that you need to protect yourself from anything that stands in the way of your personal growth. The others, those who cling to you because they are invested in keeping you small, will resist, but that's not your burden to bear. You are not a hostage to your past connections. You have the power to choose the people you keep around you, and sometimes that means making the difficult decision to let go of those who no longer serve a positive role in your life. Toxic individuals often resent your growth, and this resentment can manifest in many subtle and not so subtle ways. It's a difficult truth to confront, especially when these people are close friends, family members, or long-standing acquaintances. But when you begin to push yourself forward, whether it's in your career, personal life, or simply striving to become a better version of yourself, there are those who will not support you because your growth serves as a mirror to their own stagnation. At first, this resentment might not be immediately obvious. It can start with small, seemingly innocuous comments that dismiss your achievements or ambitions. Maybe they brush off your new goals with a joke or a sarcastic remark. Maybe they act disinterested or distracted when you share something positive that's happening in your life. What they don't realize is that these small dismissals are often the result of deep-seated envy or insecurity. These individuals, rather than celebrating your success or supporting you, feel threatened because your progress reminds them of their own inertia. It forces them to confront their own lack of movement, their own failure to take action, and their own unacknowledged fears. This resentment isn't always obvious. Sometimes it manifests in more passive-aggressive behaviors, such as undermining your decisions or subtly casting doubt on your abilities. For instance, you might be met with skepticism when you talk about a new project or a major life change. They might say things like, "Are you sure you can handle that?" Or, "It seems like you're biting off more than you can chew." These comments, though cloaked in concern, are often rooted in a fear that you will succeed and, in doing so, surpass them. The underlying message is clear. Your progress is an uncomfortable reminder of their own limitations, and in some cases, they would rather see you fall short than succeed. But this isn't just about feeling insecure. There's a psychological element at play here. People who are stuck in their own lives, whether due to a lack of ambition, unresolved issues, or self-doubt, often don't know how to handle someone who's moving forward. It's a lot easier for them to keep you in a state of stagnation because it validates their own choices to remain where they are. If you stay stuck, they don't have to face the fact that they haven't taken action in their own lives. So, in a sense, they'll unconsciously sabotage your efforts, either by dismissing your ideas, questioning your decisions, or drawing you back into old habits and unhealthy patterns. What makes this dynamic even more challenging is that these toxic individuals often disguise their resentment as concern or care. They'll act like they're looking out for you, but what they're really doing is trying to create doubt, discourage you, or make you second-guess your choices. It's important to recognize this behavior for what it is, an attempt to hold you back. The key here is not to internalize their negativity. Instead, you need to develop the emotional intelligence to recognize when someone is trying to pull you down simply because they can't rise themselves. The truth is, not everyone is capable of being happy for your success, especially when they feel like their own lives are stagnating. And that's okay. It doesn't reflect on you, but on their inability to take ownership of their own potential. Understanding this is crucial in freeing yourself from the grip of toxic people and realizing that your success is not a threat to those who truly care about you. The right people in your life will encourage you, support you, and cheer you on. Anyone else is simply a reflection of their own struggles, and their resentment should never hold you back. Staying in unhealthy relationships with toxic individuals drains your potential in ways that are often hard to see in the moment. It's not just about the immediate emotional toll they take on you, but the long-term consequences that quietly erode your energy, your motivation, and your drive. Over time, these relationships begin to eat away at your ability to think clearly, to act decisively, and to pursue your goals with any real conviction. Every moment you spend around toxic people is a moment you could be spending focusing on your growth, your aspirations, and your personal well-being. These relationships consume your mental bandwidth, often forcing you to invest energy into managing the negative dynamics that come with them, whether it's dealing with manipulation, handling their emotional instability, or constantly reassuring them of your worth. This leaves little room for self-reflection, development, or the pursuit of your own objectives. The result is a slow, creeping sense of exhaustion where you realize that instead of advancing in life, you're stuck in an emotional holding pattern. When you're constantly managing the volatility or negativity of toxic individuals, it becomes difficult to make any progress. Their presence in your life creates a drain on your mental resources, leaving you less focused, less motivated, and more easily distracted. It's hard to be productive, to set meaningful goals, or to make strides in your personal or professional life when you're regularly dealing with people who are intent on keeping you in a state of disarray. The constant emotional labor it takes to maintain a relationship with someone who is draining you can leave you mentally exhausted, making it hard to summon the energy needed to work on things that matter to you. Furthermore, toxic people often try to project their insecurities onto you, reinforcing negative patterns of thinking. They subtly encourage self-doubt and fear, making you question your abilities, your goals, or your worth. Their cynicism can seep into your psyche, creating a cloud of uncertainty that hangs over your decisions. When you're around individuals who constantly undermine you, either through criticism or emotional manipulation, it becomes increasingly difficult to trust your own judgment. You begin to second-guess yourself, hesitate, and lose the confidence that is necessary to make bold, impactful decisions. This fear of failure, which toxic people thrive on cultivating, can paralyze you and keep you from taking risks or stepping out of your comfort zone. What's even more destructive is that toxic people tend to normalize dysfunction. Over time, you may find yourself accepting behavior that you once would have called out or walked away from. Their negativity becomes your normal, and what once felt like an affront to your dignity becomes something you endure as part of your day-to-day existence. This shift in perception can be incredibly insidious, as it slowly chips away at your self-esteem and leaves you questioning your own standards for how you deserve to be treated. The more you tolerate, the less likely you are to recognize the damage it's doing to your emotional health. Eventually, you begin to lose sight of the person you used to be, the person who knew their worth and had the strength to walk away from toxicity. This kind of emotional depletion leaves you feeling drained and disconnected from your own desires and passions. You begin to lose touch with what you truly want in life because your focus shifts entirely to managing the emotional chaos around you. Instead of having the energy to pursue your goals, you find yourself simply trying to survive the day. And in doing so, you deprive yourself of the ability to grow. You stop challenging yourself, stop reaching for new experiences, and stop pushing toward the future you envisioned. The toxic people in your life make you smaller, and they rob you of the chance to become the person you're capable of being. The longer you stay connected to these individuals, the further away your dreams slip into the distance. Cutting ties with toxic people is not only an act of self-preservation, but also one of courage. It requires the strength to make difficult decisions, the ability to enforce boundaries, and the willpower to stand firm even when faced with resistance or guilt. The fear of conflict, rejection, and disappointment can be overwhelming when you consider removing someone from your life, especially if that person has been a part of your world for a long time. But in choosing to protect yourself, you are taking responsibility for your own happiness and future. You are choosing to prioritize your own well-being over the toxic patterns that have been allowed to persist. The act of cutting ties with someone who is toxic is often fraught with emotional turmoil. You might feel guilty, wondering if you're being too harsh or if you should give them another chance. You may question whether you're being selfish, considering how their departure might affect them or others around you. These feelings of guilt are natural, but they often stem from an unhealthy sense of duty or the belief that you must accommodate others at the expense of your own peace. It's easy to become trapped in the mindset that loyalty and sacrifice should outweigh your personal well-being. But this is a dangerous path. It's important to recognize that loyalty is not about blindly sticking with people who are detrimental to you, but about ensuring that your relationships are based on respect, care, and mutual support. The courage to cut someone out of your life lies in your ability to see beyond immediate discomfort and to focus on the long-term benefits of distancing yourself from negativity. When you hold on to toxic people, you are ultimately allowing them to dictate the trajectory of your life. Their presence creates a constant state of we instability, leaving you at the mercy of their moods, manipulations, and insecurities. The decision to let go is a declaration of your own autonomy. It says that you are no longer willing to allow another person's dysfunction to dictate how you feel about yourself or how you move through the world. This act of courage also involves setting clear boundaries and maintaining them. It is not enough to merely distance yourself from someone physically. You must also enforce emotional boundaries. Toxic people often thrive on emotional manipulation, guilt tripping, or attempts to pull you back into the old dynamic. They might try to guilt you into feeling responsible for their well-being or make you feel like you're overreacting or being unreasonable. Standing firm in your decision to cut ties takes practice and inner strength. It means resisting the temptation to second-guess yourself or give in to emotional pressure. You must remind yourself that your peace of mind, your emotional health, and your future are far more important than the comfort of someone else's toxic behavior. There is also a deep sense of personal empowerment that comes from making the decision to protect your own energy. It is a reminder that you are the architect of your life, and you have the right to choose who you allow into your space. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking you have to tolerate unhealthy relationships for the sake of avoiding discomfort or confrontation. But once you make the choice to let go of toxic people, you are reclaiming control over your environment and your emotional landscape. You are saying, I am worthy of peace, of respect, of love, and I will not settle for less. In that moment, you are choosing not just to remove toxic people, but to create space for healthier, more enriching relationships that will help you grow and flourish. This is the essence of self-respect and self-love. It is about honoring yourself enough to make the tough decisions that will ultimately lead you to a life filled with authenticity, clarity, and fulfillment. Surrounding yourself with people who elevate you is not just a nice idea, it's a necessity for your growth, happiness, and success. The individuals you choose to keep close to you have an immense impact on your mindset, your behaviors, and your overall approach to life. The right people don't just support you, they challenge you, inspire you, and push you toward becoming the best version of yourself. They are the ones who believe in your potential, even when you don't fully believe in it yourself. And they encourage you to reach higher, aim further, and push through obstacles. When you choose to surround yourself with people who elevate you, you are essentially choosing to be around those who bring out the best in you. These individuals are often the ones who hold you accountable in a way that is both kind and constructive. They don't tolerate mediocrity, but they also don't tear you down. Instead, they help you see your strengths, your blind spots, and your opportunities for growth, often in ways that you might have never seen on your own. These are the friends and mentors who show you that there's more to life than settling for what you already know. They encourage you to take risks, to pursue your dreams, and to not be afraid of failure because they understand that growth only happens outside your comfort zone. The beauty of these relationships lies in their ability to help you grow through constructive feedback. Rather than criticizing you, they offer perspective. They give you the kind of feedback that helps you sharpen your skills, improve your decision-making, and learn from your mistakes. Unlike toxic people, who often criticize to diminish your confidence, people who elevate you criticize in a way that's intended to help you improve. Their feedback doesn't make you feel small, it makes you feel capable of becoming better. With their encouragement, you begin to see challenges as opportunities, and you stop seeing failure as a final judgment of your worth. Equally important is that these individuals want to see you succeed, not just in theory, but in practice. They celebrate your victories, both big and small. When you achieve something significant, they are genuinely happy for you. They don't feel threatened by your success or feel the need to diminish it. Instead, they share in your joy because they understand that your growth doesn't take away from their own. There is no jealousy, no competition, just a shared desire for mutual success and fulfillment. They make you feel supported and loved, not because of what you do for them, but because of who you are and who you are becoming. These people also help you to expand your horizons by introducing you to new perspectives, experiences, and opportunities. They expose you to ideas and ways of thinking that you may not have considered on your own. Their own lives and accomplishments often serve as a living example of what's possible when you step into your potential. They push you to question old beliefs and explore new ones, challenging you to think critically, grow emotionally, and act decisively. With them in your corner, you are less likely to stagnate or fall into complacency because they inspire you to keep moving forward, no matter the hurdles. Finally, surrounding yourself with people who elevate you means you are also building a community of trust and respect. These relationships are based on mutual growth, mutual respect, and mutual support. They are free of toxicity, manipulation, or jealousy. Instead, they thrive on shared values, goals, and a genuine care for one another's success. When you are surrounded by people like this, you are no longer alone in your journey toward personal development and success. You have a network of individuals who cheer you on, who give you advice when needed, and who will be there for you during the toughest times without hesitation. This is the kind of company you want to keep, as it sets the stage for a life of fulfillment, continuous growth, and lasting happiness.